So welcome here, folks. It's so good to have all of y'all joining for the Hatha mixed with Yin class that we're doing today. So this class will be, you can kind of expect it to be just a little bit faster paced in the beginning and then slower paced towards the end. Tune in for as much as you want to. As usual, there is zero pressure to stay for the whole length of time that I teach. You can just take it as you will and really absorb the practice in the way that works best for your body and for your kind of mood today. So that being said, I can encourage you to try to stay here for the whole hour if you've committed to that. Try to stick with the experience if that's your intention. Let's start by becoming more present with our breathing, which I personally think is the baseline kind of step that gets us started with our yoga practices, is finding that baseline of breath. So let's do that here. Just close your eyes. You can stand, you can sway, you can lay on your back. And I just want you to start to notice the breathing in and out through the nostrils. So taking that smooth and slow breath in, and that smooth and slow breath out through the nostrils. And how is it feeling? Like, how is the breath actually feeling? Is it feel sticky? Or is it feeling smooth? Or is it feeling like it big? Or is it just really small right now? And without judgment, just kind of notice what the breathing is. And then over the course of the next 60 minutes, I want to encourage you to let that grow and expand. So if you can imagine a little ball of energy, and then maybe it's small right now, and we're going to just kind of increase and expand how much energy we bring into the practice. And then we'll crescendo, and then we'll bring it back down. We'll decrescendo back downward the yin, and we'll end in kind of a more contained space with our energy and how we're feeling. So it's so good to have you here. Come up from your laying down or seated position, and we're going to come into tabletop position to start things off. So on the hands and knees. I'm going to use some blocks underneath my palms. And then take a breath in and look forwards. Open up through the heart, the stomach. Look even up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, round up through the spine. Press down with the palms. Inhale, bringing it forwards, opening up through the heart, the stomach, compressing into the low back, and then press down and round up through the spine. All right, let's do 4 more without any words, just breathing. Wonderful. Come back to neutral feeling spine. Curl under your toes and lift up through the hips. Step back and into downward facing dog. Press the palms forwards, gripping the floor. On your inhale breath, move forwards to high plank. On your exhale breath, move back to down dog. 3 more. Plank, inhale. Dog, exhale. 2 more. Plank, use your breathing and complete that movement nice and slow and smooth. And then I'm going to get you to walk up to the top of your mat where your hands are. And take your hands to your shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold the spine. Reach down to the ankles. Take 1 more full breath in this fold. And a full breath out. Now rise up, reach up, arms and standing. Palms together above the head. Hands together in front of your heart center. Press them. All right, we're going to lift our right knee up, kind of in front of the hip. Push down with the left foot, root down into that outer thigh and glute muscle. You're working those muscles to stay pushing down into the ground, and open the leg to the right side And then bring that right foot to the inside edge of your left leg. Calf muscle, or if you want to today, bringing the foot up to the inner thigh or to the front of the left thigh for half lotus instead of tree pose. And stand with a kind of a proudness to the posture. So you're feeling tall, standing up. And let's try about 3 or 4 more breaths in and out through the nose. And it's okay if you fall or have to catch your balance. That's kind of part of the beauty of the practice is it not being perfect every single time. If it was perfectly the same and everything was really easy and doable every time, there wouldn't be much of a feeling of having some progression and having some feeling of getting to know yourself, right? And so let's move that knee forwards and try it on the opposite side. So lower that foot to the floor, lift the left knee up, 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 push down with the right foot, open the left leg to the left side, place the foot to the inside edge of the right leg, or upper inner thigh, or front of right leg. One or both hands to the heart center, or just taking a calm approach with the arms down. Full breath together. And out. Breathe in. And all the way out. Try to track that breath in your own practice today without much need for the encouragement of my words. Try to stick with that feeling of breathing and take ownership of your breath today in the class and really stay focused on it. Let's move the knee forwards and lower the foot to the floor. Reach the arms up, spread tall, put some expression into it. Interlace the hands above your head. Look forwards or slightly up, and then side bend up and over to your right hand side. Let's rise back up to the center and to our left side. And coming back up. And I just want you to go really slowly side to side using your breathing, kind of like a super slow motion dance with your body and your breath. And you can express as far over to the side as you want to, or keep it smaller, right? There's so many different ways to side bend. And let's come back over to the middle, just to the center. Step the feet apart. Let's squat down and back with the hips. Powerful pose. Arms are leveled off to the floor, getting the hips low. And let's stand all the way back up. So now we're not staying down forever. So let's try this about 3 or 4 more times. Squatting down low. Get nice and low. And then stand all the way up. And 3 more times, squatting down. You might even go hips below the height of the knees. Down low and standing up. 2 more. I'm just noticing how your body can express movement. And all the way back up. Awesome. Face the front of your yoga mat. Reach up above your head. Take a full breath in. Exhale, dive down with bent knees, butt back. Fingertips touch the floor. Hands to shins, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, palms to the ground, step back to plank. Now take a full breath in the nose. Exhale down to chaturanga, or knees down first, and then the rest of your chest down to the floor. Baby cobra or upward dog, lifting the heart up. Exhale, push up to tabletop. Down dog. Hips lift back up, palms press forwards. Awesome, let's just step our left foot forwards, and then we're gonna root the back heel to the floor, all right? If you're using blocks, they go staggering next to your front foot. Pause here. If you're using the blocks, or you can bring the fingers all the way down to the floor. If that's still too far away, you can bring the hands up onto the front thigh or shin. So you have a few choices there. So I'm going to give you the option of moving through a rotation of the spine. All right, so we're going to take our block and put it in front of our left foot if we're using it. I'm going to use 2. Now our right hand goes on top of the block or the shin, and then the left arm reaches up into the air. I'm going to root down through your feet. Take one more breath in. And take a breath out, bring the hand back to the floor. And just swap sides. So step forwards and step back with the opposite leg. Both legs are straight. Left hand on the block or the front left or the front right shin. And then reaching up with the right hand. I prefer the block for this one for sure. Give some space to that ability to press down. Some kind of stability, right? When I put my hand on my shin, it's kind of too far inwards. It needs to be on the block. It works better. Take one more breath. And then bring the hands down to the floor, moving the blocks out of the picture, hands down. Step back to plank. Take a full breath in. And down to chaturanga, exhale. You can use your knees. And then take baby cobra or upward dog, lift the heart up. Exhale, come back to tabletop, and then push back up to downward dog, hips in the sky. Awesome, let's walk up to the top. We're gonna go into eagle pose from here. Let's slide up to standing, hands to shins, and then all the way up. All right, let's bring the left leg over top of the right leg. Left arm underneath the right arm, left side eagle. Squatting down with the hips and butt. Full breath in. Full breath out. Full breath in, reach the arms up, lift the left leg up. Exhale, kick the left leg back, plant the toe and then the foot. Same leg position we had before, but now reaching up with the arms and lunge the knee forwards. And let's windmill, or not windmill, just kind of bow down to the ground, hands to the floor. And step back to plank. You can go through a flow, or you can just step up to the top of your mat. It's your choice. Once you are done the flow, if you did take it, come back up to standing right up near the top of your yoga mat. All right? So now we're going to bring the right leg over the left leg, the right arm under the left arm, and squeeze, binding through the arms and the legs. And take a full breath. And exhale, squeezing. Squeezing elbows up and down, legs side to side. And getting back to that base layer of breathing. Now let's expand upwards again. So arms reach up, leg floats up. Reach back with that right leg. Plant the toe and then the heel and foot. Reach up with both arms and lunge the front knee. Left knee over left ankle. One final breath in this shape. Hands windmill down to the floor, exhale. Step back to plank. Take a full breath in. Exhale down, chaturanga. From here to baby cobra or upward dog, lift the heart and chest. Exhale, downward dog, hips back up into the sky. Awesome. Good work, folks. Let's walk to the top of the mat again. And then come all the way back up so that we're standing. Have the hands onto your hips. Step back with your right foot. And then heel toe back until you're in warrior two. So the leg goes further back, arms lift up, and then lunge forwards. If you tend to get distracted and lose track of your breathing during class, a really nice technique is to visualize a shape. Circle, square, those usually work really well. And when you're breathing, you're trying to kind of color in or outline the shape. And then you can just fill in the blanks, right? Make that work visually, mentally, in the way that it helps you breathe. You might close the eyes and then really focus on the sensation. Maybe that's what helps you stay focused on the act and the feeling of breathing is actually kind of noticing how it feels in the stomach, how the chest expands and grows in volume. Option into bind. So left arm down, right arm back behind you, behind the low back. And then we're gonna dip down into the lunge further, reach underneath the leg, and then hold the hands together behind the low back, lifting the heart a bit. It's tough. If you can't do that, come halfway in. It's okay. Take another full breath. And out back to warrior two. Put the hands on the hips, straighten your left leg, heel toe the back foot in, and step forwards. Take a full breath in, reach up. Hands to heart. Two more, just breathing, moving the arms. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale up, lift the left leg. Step back to warrior two, left leg back, arms opening up. Take your time to arrive, and then lunge. Knee over ankle, arms reaching. So when we can slow down some of our movements in the practice, like the stepping back actions, the moving in and out of our postures, this can really help our body gain awareness of the muscle. Now from our warrior two into our bent leg triangle with an optional bind. So bringing the left hand behind the low back. This is a perfect place to pause and stay, rolling the top shoulder back a bit. Or we dip a little further into the lunge, reach underneath the leg with the right arm, reach behind our back hip, grab hands onto each other, then lift the heart a little bit. For 3, 2, and 1, releasing, coming back up to warrior two. Awesome, hands to the hips. Straighten the front leg. Option to come to mountain pose, standing at the top of the mat, or come on the flow journey and windmill your hands down to the floor. Step back with your front foot. You're in plank. Take a full breath in and go through the flow. Exhale. To up dog or baby cobra, lift the heart up and then back it up to downward facing dog with your hips up high in the sky. And just notice, I think that's one of the best words for the practice is notice. When we can try to become present with what's happening in the moment with this body of ours. I don't know about you, but this helps me in other experiences in my life. All sorts of different experiences. Being more present in your own body during experiences that involve the body. Hiking, biking, climbing, intimacy, running, skating, jogging, cooking. All of these different things require body awareness. And when we have that and we can tune in to how we're feeling, we might become more present in those experiences. And I think that's a really positive thing. Let's go from downward facing dog and then just walk up to the top of the mat. So if you're confused as to where we are, let's just meet in standing. And then we're gonna lift the left knee up to the height of the hip. Grab the knee with the palm, reach the right arm to the right, take the left leg to the left, and stand nice and tall. Push down to the posting foot. Option to grab the big toe with your peace fingers and then kick the leg to the side. But it's tough, right? But like if we check out my alignment in this one, I can't really get the full extension of the leg because my arm runs out of space. So if I grab a strap, I can really alleviate some of that challenge, because I give my arm more arm. I give it more to work with, right? So now I can get that full extension, move the leg open, kicking nice and strong with the leg, and giving the arm the space that it needs. Let's come back to the center, inhale, and lower that foot to the floor. Lift the right knee up so it's in front of your hip. Grab the knee with your palm, open the leg to the side. Option to do hand to toe or strap to toe, leg to side. Reach to the left, look over the left palm. Let's come back to center, breathing in, and lower the foot, breathing out. We're gonna dance next. You could literally dance if you want to, or just do dancer's pose with me. I'm gonna strap up the dancer's pose, so we're looping the strap around the left ankle, bringing the strap behind the butt, and then kicking the heel back to your bum. And then we're just gonna use it as a little kind of, it bridges the gap if we have a hard time reaching. So this is our dancer's pose option. Or we can bring the strap above the head, if I can grab the right part of the strap. And then it goes up, and you hold the strap with the hands. It's great for shoulder muscles, and then pressing back and reaching up at the same time will help build that stability in the shoulder as you search for a stretch across the front of your body. Use the triceps, pressing up with the fists for 3, kicking back 2, 1, and standing up. Lower that foot to the floor. Nice. Let's loop a strap around the right ankle next. And do dancer's pose. I've shown you the backpack strap as well. This is a wonderful variation. It's so nice and passive. But since we are doing a more active first half, I'm going to suggest that you try to go in line with that. And then pressing back, reaching up with the fists. Get those shoulders and arms working. Inhale back up. Exhale, release the tension from the strap. Let the foot down to the floor. And just put that strap off to the side if you were using it anyways. And let's try optional toe stand today to kind of finish off the more active portion of our practice. And this is optional. It's a tough pose, but I want to offer poses that might challenge your some of your boundaries, and also just kind of help you establish what those boundaries are. Because if we don't ever come across things that put a roadblock up, we might not be like, oh, I don't really want to go there actually, so I'm just not going to go there. That's a big part of our life, is establishing those healthy boundaries in our of how we can use our body. All right, so we can do tree pose to start things off, just kind of regular tree. To go up to half lotus, like we did at the beginning of class, you could do this. And then to do toe stand, blocks are awesome. You stand near them. The right foot goes, or left foot goes on top of the right thigh. And then you're gonna bend the right knee, use the blocks underneath the hands, and then come on down to squatting position. Spine is up above the heel, and I'll move my block here. You can see how my heel is up underneath my toe, or above my toe, and it's kind of pressing into the underside of the butt just to give some support. One more breath in. and then all the way back to standing. And we can go into that same posture on the opposite side. So we're going to bring the right foot to the front left thigh. And then once you've got that position, you bring the hands to your hips or your heart center and choose to stay right where you are, or coming back into toe stand. So hands on the blocks, and then coming down with the butt over the heel. I think I'm doing the wrong side of the pose. There we go. So just 2 or 3 more breaths, noticing where you can go with your body. And then when you're all done, you're gonna stand back up and we'll find a flow pattern. Blocks at the top of the mat. If you're utilizing those, reaching up, breathe in. Exhale, dive down to the blocks or the floor. Hands to shins, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, flow, palms down, step back. Lower down, chaturanga. Up dog, lifting the heart, press down. Back it up with the hips up in the air. Optional to do 3 more flows. I'll guide you through these flows. So inhale forwards to high push-up, press back with your heels. As you lower down to chaturanga, use the butt, squeeze the butt. Then push down, lift your chest up, and use those triceps to get that extension. And then back it up to down dog. 2 more flows like that, you can do it. Inhale forwards to plank. Exhale down to low plank. Inhale up dog. Exhale down to down dog, hips up. All right, do 1 more flow and try to tune in with the breathing. Present breath in, right? Allowing those exhales to go all the way down till you feel empty. Breathing out a little longer than you might think. All right, let's bring the knees down to the ground from down dog. Swivel the shins to the side and then lay down on your back. Just for a moment, we'll rest in our Shavasana posture here. Where can you feel movement in your body when you take breath? So can you notice how when you take a breath in, that lifting action of the chest starts to move the upper body up, and it starts to feel you can feel like the movement in the shoulders and in the arms. It's very subtle. So at this point in time, we're helping our body transition into relaxation. With the first bit of our class being a bit more active, moving through some of those lunging postures, the squatting postures like toe stand, where we're trying something new, something challenging. And now this transition into a more calm place in our body. All right, so let's lift our knees up. Knees are in the air, and then you're going to grab the outside edges of your knees and hug gently in with both arms for double wind relieving. Knees are wide, getting the groin to stretch. Second option, soles of the feet lift up. Grab the pinky side edges of the feet, happy baby. And letting the legs open nice and wide, opening up through the underside of the pelvis and the groin. Now, what we can try to do is attempt to relax the pelvic floor here a little bit. So if there's tension in the underside of the bum, we might just try to consciously relax with an exhale. And this way we can notice how our breathing can help alleviate tension in the body. That's all we need, is just to tune into the breathing. Take one more breath in. Let go of the feet. Put your feet down onto the ground. And we're going to bring the soles of the feet to touch for cobbler's pose. So knees are apart wide. And then I'm going to take my blocks and I'm actually going to put them underneath my spine today. So I'll show you what I mean. Do something like this. I kind of do like a T shape with the blocks, and then laying down on the back. So I'm gonna go a bit higher up near my head. And then we can start to bring this opening into the chest with these blocks in these positions. So you have a few choices if you're feeling tension that is undesirable in the yoga pose. Um, the first option is you don't do anything about it. That's the least favorable option, most likely. Although sometimes it actually can be really effective to just sit tight. But if the tension is really intense, then what we want to do is bolsters, blocks, and breath. Addressing sensation with breathing. When it's too much, blocks. So by this point in our stretch, we should hopefully feel some of those tension points relaxing. So if there were bits of quivers of tension or gripping in the posture, hopefully they're dissolving now into a more relaxed state of body. And if not, blocks, bolsters, more. All right, so first to get out of this posture, we're going to close the knees gently, and we're just going to roll to our right side. So we're just rolling off of the bolsters and then removing them. You can just lay down onto your back again. And then from here, we're going to kind of continue that back body opening, but we're going to do so with the bolster closer to the low part of the spine, and then we're not going to put a bolster under the head. So instead of the bolster being back here, we're now tucking it closer to the low back. We're then going to lay down so that bolster will stay put just underneath the back. Just going to make sure that it's not too much pressure. We might want to use a soft block if that's the case. And then we're going to come down all the way so that the head is back. And this is our fish pose, supported fish. Move my bolster up just a little bit higher so it's not so close to the low back, just up from there a bit. There we go. So take your time to find exactly where it should be for you. And we're just going to be here for about 2 minutes or so. I remember when I first started doing yoga, I actually had so much discomfort in my spine, like because I was so used to being very hunchy, and like kids and their cell phones and their video games and these kind of things. That's it happens, right? We get that little hunch. Hopefully not. And this posture here was a game changer for me when I first started practicing. I remember my teacher coming around and saying, "Hey, why don't you do this for Shavasana instead of just pure Shavasana? Because I think you could use that front body opening a bit more." And it did help a lot. It helped kind of open up my body in the front and not be so hunchy and slouchy. All right, so let's come off the bolster. You can come up any way you want, or just roll off to your side again. We're going to turn over onto our fronts, and we're going to do pigeon pose next. So pigeon, we're going to come to tabletop position, optional to down dog. Kick the right leg up from down dog, extend, and then pull the right knee behind the right hand. And put the bolster underneath the pelvis, right tucked up to the underside of the thigh or calf muscle. And then come down onto your elbows. Bolster under forehead, if you've got that nearby. And that helps you relax the back of the neck a little bit more, which is pretty sweet. So these poses do require a little bit more of a silent kind of approach, in my opinion. All that is really required here is attention, breathing, and those two things will really help you steer the pose where you want to go. Because if you pay attention to the body part, the hip, the glutes, and simultaneously become aware of your breathing, the full breath in, the full breath out, you're going to get a lot of information. And you can always come down further in poses like this if you have stopped moving and you want to go just that little bit further. You're just going to remove the bolster from underneath the hip or maybe underneath the forehead. You might come down further onto your arms, reach them forwards. Last 30 seconds on this side. And then I want you to start to push your palms down, lift up onto the hands, and come on back to tabletop position. So step it back onto your hands and knees. You can also go to down dog. Oh, that felt so good. Like my hip needed that a lot today. Let's do it on the opposite side. So option to down dog and then in, or option just to come on into the pose right from tabletop. That's what I'm doing. Get that bolster onto the left side. I think basically I had kind of forgotten a little bit about how amazing blocks are for Pigeon. It's such an amazing thing to have a very dense and firm block for Pigeon instead of a block that gives a lot. Because the block that gives, it's hard for the muscle to get told to relax fully because it's always because there's the squish down of the block. The muscle's kind of in slight tension sometimes because it can not know how much it's going to sink down into this soft surface. But when it's on something very dense and firm like a block, it knows, like our body knows, it's not going anywhere. That bolster is going to support the leg the whole time for sure. So then we can really relax the glutes in the pose. So definitely what I'm feeling right now. And then I'll take a bolster and just put it under my head. The cello and piano at the end of this album is just so nice. What a perfect bit of music for this kind of posture. So just about 30 more seconds on this side of pigeon pose, folks. I have a big red mark on my forehead when I come up. And then I'd like you to start to push your palms into the floor and then lift your chest up. And then you're gonna curl your right toes under and come back to tabletop position so you're on your hands and knees.
Let's do a few more rounds of cat-cow, just like we did when we started class. So palms on the floor, knees on the floor. We're going to inhale, open up the heart, and look forwards, kind of open up the butt back behind you as well. And then exhale, we're going to tuck the tailbone under, squeeze the bum muscles, press the palms down, look down at the knees, and then open up again, opening up the heart, back through the bum, palms pressed down. And exhale, tucking the tailbone under, squeezing the butt a little bit, and pressing palms. 2 more, letting your body express that movement however it needs to. Even if it's like some different movements of the spine, some wigglies, some side movements of the spine, whatever it needs to be. And just finding that neutral position, stopping in the middle. And then you're going to windshield wiper the legs to the side, and then bring them straight forwards in front of you. We'll bring the left leg forwards, the right leg hugs in, and we'll cross the leg for our seated twist. We could also do this in a laying down position, but this is how I'm going to do it for now. So right hand behind you, left hand wraps around the right leg. Yeah, and if you want to lay down, just go for it. Is there somewhere in your body that actually wants a softer approach to twisting? You might just loosen if you're holding a lot of tension within your twist. Sometimes it feels good to not have it be so engaged feeling when you're twisting. And let's bring it back to the center, back to the middle. Uncross your legs and, you guessed it, swap it up. Cross the left leg over the right leg, left hand behind you, and wrap the right arm around the leg and start to rotate the spine. I remember for so many years, I think the primary thing that I heard in this posture was lengthen the spine, and then I would hear to try to twist. So my first goal was always to try to get as much extension, as much lift through the spine as possible, because that's what I was told to do, and then to try to rotate the spine. And those two things are inherently a little bit like they kind of butt up against each other. Our spine doesn't like to rotate within extension. It doesn't do it very well at all. Our spine does rotation much better in a neutral position, or even sometimes in a little bit of a folded position, especially in the upper spine. So we can just allow the back to be a back, and don't worry about making it like a perfectly upright thing. And then bring your body, come on back to the center. Uncross your legs from each other. We're going to do supported bridge next. So we need bolsters for this one. You're just going to bring them close to you, near the butt. Lay down on your back. Lift up the hips, and the bolsters go right underneath of the pelvis. Some people like to go quite high up, like they'll stack things up even higher. And you'll find a nice and adequate position for you to hold the hips in, and then just let the arms relax beside your hips, and you can even look slightly up. You're going to open up the throat a little bit. So sometimes, depending on how comfortable we are with this type of position in our body right now, we could try lifting the legs up. So the hips can stand the bolster, and we can lift the legs up a little bit. If that's too high up, we can take one
away and just find that right position. And this can help us go into this feeling of legs up the wall, but without a wall. So if you want to lift the legs up a little bit, you can grab the undersides of the legs or just kind of dangle them up there. And let's let the head wiggle side to side and just let this last kind of minute or two just be more playful and casual, just kind of flopping around a little bit. Move the arms, move the legs, wiggle the head. Go ahead and put your feet back down onto the ground and we'll extend out into final Shavasana. So legs go out. Blocks go here underneath the legs. This is an awesome spot for the bolsters to rest. And we're going to go all the way down to our backs. So wonderful job sticking through the practice right to the very end here today, for showing up for this last Shavasana. Now's the point in time when the practice is a little bit, can be more challenging for some folks, because if we're very type A and we like to think as if doing things, as in not, sometimes we think that Shavasana isn't doing anything. So sometimes people that think, oh, doing things is good, I must achieve more, we might be tempted to get up right now and just leave. And that's fine, that's okay. But perhaps those of us who are in that type A brainwave all the time of like needing to do, could use some time right here on our backs where we're just being instead of doing. So if you were following along in the playlist, it's just finished up. So now there might be some new music shuffling on into your streaming service. But anyways, I just want to thank you so much for coming to class today, for tuning in and making this what you needed it to be, for staying for as long as you needed to, and for taking off when it worked best. If you need longer in Shavasana, you know what to do. Just stay right here, put a blanket on, some socks on, chill out. And I'll see you soon for the next one, folks. I'll be with you tomorrow night. You're down to do some working out with me. Come online at 5 p.m. same time, same place. Bye. Have an awesome night. Chair Yoga Thursday, folks. Come in for Chair Yoga Thursday. One of the students recommended it, or requested it. So see you soon.